I feel really let down in a way, because I say 99.9 of the new acts, new DJs that are coming in, they actually haven't been educated properly. They don't know about the roots. They don't know about the culture. They don't know about everything that it is to be in this industry. As somebody who's been real for the music and for the culture, I can tell you that house and techno will always survive. You know, Chicago and Detroit are still there. New York is still there. There's always an underground to what's happening at EDM world and dance music and blah, blah, blah. People don't realize that 20 years ago, dance music or electronic music was actually breaking in the States.
You know, I enjoyed a wave, especially in America, about 10, 12 years ago. There's me and the Chemicals Brothers and Prodigy and Basement Jaxx. We kind of had our sort of big explosion in America. It was called electronica in those days, not EDM. And then that wave crashes to the beach and then recedes. But in the meantime, we just go back underground and do our thing.
It was a completely different thing because first of all, we were playing vinyl. It was before the big internet boom, so that changed really everything. Club-wise, it's pretty much the same. I would say, some clubs are different, but the party scene is pretty much the same. What changed is more everything around the music, like producing, distributing music, and the format itself. That's the main difference. The biggest change that happened in those 10 years. That completely, if you're kind of a old school DJ like I am, you had to adapt. You had to try at least the new things. And when you were used to going to a record shop every week, all that changed. It's kind of coming back now, which I think is interesting. It's kind of a cycle and a reaction to all that craziness with the atomization of the music and the labels. So I can feel people need to have go back to the roots and go back to record shop. And I really feel it now, like this year. But for a while it was completely changing, and you have to be careful not to be lost, and you have to adapt.
It's just like doo-wop music into funk and soul. It just evolves. And I think we're evolving. But when we evolve right now, I think we're going back into the same thing, but just making it cleaner or making it have a little different clarity to it. But I still feel it's just a dance beat that we're evolving around. I think, believe it or not, I think it's because a lot of these records have hit pop radio, believe it or not. These guys that did a lot of these pop songs, whether it's Ghetto, Swedish Mafia, Tiesto, or whatever it is, them guys making those records, those other type of dance records so big, has made a resurgence of people trying to find out where it really came from. And I think that helps though too, because it turns it all around, and now we're the cool factor, because you can hear the difference. It's kind of a difference going on there, and it's a different feel. So bad turns into good, good turns into bad. It's just like that's the idea. That's the idea of music to me. It makes it fun. It was fun for me to go find an old James Brown record that nobody had. Go to the store. Me, Kenny, and Jazzy Jeff are driving all around Philly looking for a 45. That's the fun of it, and I think the kids are getting that type of aspect from it. Like now, they're having fun.
Grunge, when grunge came in '90s, it took all those kids that would have gone to electronic to grunge. So it was Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all this stuff took over, and the stations in the States, that's all they were playing. Later on became the hip hop craze, and then that took over, and now this electronic dance music, whatever you want to call it, is now popping up in the stations and all that stuff. But what they've done is pretty much looked at Europe, which have been forward in terms of the business of electronic music and labels and everything, seeing what the most popular people are, and then import them here to try to say, well, these guys are playing in front of 50,000 people in Holland or in Belgium or whatever. Let's bring them to the States and see if we can get 10,000 people or 15,000 people and make something happen. They lack the sort of knowledge and respect to involve American people or American DJs and producers who've been doing it for a while and still around today, and then the new generation that are coming up, like Martinez Brothers and everybody else. There's something happening, you know. They're sort of putting their blind eye. They're going for the most commercial and the most obvious. You know, sooner or later they'll figure out, okay, they're either gonna go bust or gonna go bigger. You know what I mean? So I just don't know what kind of DJ it would be. You know, maybe some a hologram of a DJ with a bunch of people playing, you know, dancing to it. I don't know. It's it's what it is, man.
Everything has its purpose. I do my thing. I try to control what I do, which is the quality of what I do, and not control or want to control things that I have no control over. You know, so we release music on open recordings. That's music for us, music that resonates in our hearts, not necessarily a music that we think that's going to be the new big thing that's going to sell, you know, thousands and thousands of copies. We just want to do what is good and happy for us, and we still plug away and do what we do. And, you know, that's one thing that has changed that hasn't changed. You know, we've been doing our thing for 18 years, and when you keep this integrity that we've kind of developed, I love what we do, and things will kind of come and they'll go. That's life, that's music, that's trends.
But at the same time, if I'm in a city such as Amsterdam or London or Berlin, I'll always, if I've got the time anyway, you know, if I've flown into the city early, I'll take that extra time out to try and go to a record store, because that's where the love is, you know, going into an old record store, finding gems that, you know, somebody probably hasn't. But at the same time, I don't always, I'll just buy it just for the buzz of it, really, because not all, I mean, if some clubs have the techniques in, they're not always serviced, and it can be more hassle than good, really, sometimes, because the decks are fucked, basically. But like I said, I mean, like Watergate and stuff, you can take your vinyl there and play on vinyl all night. And when I started as Oxygen State CO, I was playing CDs and vinyl, but it's just more like, it's more been USBs, and I've just converted to Tractor now as well, so yeah, not really much vinyl at the minute, unfortunately.
I'll keep releasing vinyl as long as, you know, it's possible not to lose too much money releasing it, because I love it personally. I don't play it, I stopped playing it, but I still obviously invest a lot of my money in making it, and love it as a format. I love the sound, the feel, the way that the artwork is presented. I think that's really what drew me into releasing records in the first place, in a way. So we still sell pretty decently on vinyl. You're absolutely right, there has been a resurgence over the last couple of years, of the last year. I still think it's an important part of what we do. It's the history of what we do. I don't think the majority of kids that come to the places that we play buy vinyl, and I don't really care about that either. I think however people want to consume our music is however they want to consume it, and that's very personal, as long as they're paying for it and they're not getting it for free. But that's a whole other story. Yeah, however, you know, we'll put it in whichever format people want to buy it, because it's just about getting it to those people rather than... I think there's too much emphasis and bullshit placed on I'm a vinyl only DJ and whatever else. I just think that's completely utter tits, to be brutally honest with you. I don't think it matters. I think however you want to convey your music to people, however you want to play is what suits you, and I don't think it makes you any better or worse.
Everybody has their different ways they look at music, man. You know, it's a fight. It's a big old boxing match that you just keep on going through every 5 years. Like, oh, I'm ready to fight again. You know, so I just keep on, you know, I always try to do a little bit of everything. I think the bet is it's 5 for them and 5 for us, you know. And I always keep that mentality. I'm gonna do 5 like that. I'm gonna do 5 like this. The best of both worlds, man. I don't think I can miss that way. And I kind of proved that because, you know, I'm 27 years deep in this, you know. So something's got to. The best of both worlds is definitely working for me.
This is Toolroom 10. A decade of hits brought to you by one of the world's most influential dance labels. 100 definitive club tracks mixed by Mark Knight. Featuring deadmau5, Teed, David Guetta, Tiesto, Underworld and many more. 100 tracks, 10 years, one iconic label. 10 from Toolroom Records. Available on iTunes now.